Okay, let's complete our Unit 2 Day 4 notes, and let's go to the polynomial applications part. You'll remember that I had you guys write perimeter up here at the top of your left column. Recall from previous years that perimeter just deals with the border or the edge of a figure. So for instance, as I give you a couple examples here from years past, let's say you have a rectangle and I tell you that that rectangle has dimensions 4 and 5. If you want to find the perimeter of that rectangle, you just add up all the edges or the borders. Well, you'll recall that there'll be another 4 over here and another 5 there. So as you begin to add up those sides, 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5, that will end up being a total of 18. Similarly, if we have a triangle, it has one less side. Let's say we have a 3, 4, 5 triangle. Well, we're still going to add up all those sides. So 3 plus 4 plus 5, we get 12. That's how we find the perimeter. Okay, well, let's inject a little bit of algebra. Let's say I have a very similar rectangle here, but instead of having 4 and 5, let's say we have 4x and 5x. So here as we do our perimeter, you'll notice that we have another 4x here and another 5x there. I can just add all these guys up. You'll notice you have 4 terms here. They're all like terms. And we add them all up together. That'll give us 18 of those x's. There's our perimeter. Let's trick it up a little bit more below it. Let's say that I have the dimensions 4xy squared and 3x squared y. Okay. Well, you'll know that we have another 4xy squared over here and a 3x squared y on the bottom. Okay. Well, let's add all those guys up. We run into a slight problem here that we haven't run into in the previous problems, in that of these 4 terms, they're not all like terms. There's only some that are. For instance, the xy squares go together, but then also the x squared y's go together. So we're going to have 2 pairs here that we can combine. 4 plus 4 here is going to give us 8 of those xy squareds, and then 3 plus 3 is going to give us 6 of those x squared y's. We'd love to keep going here and add these guys together, but they're not like terms, so that's as far as we can go. All right. Down here at the bottom, let me give you guys a couple to try on your own. Let's say I give you guys a rectangle that has dimensions 5x squared and 10x. And let's say I give you guys a triangle that has these 3 dimensions. And find the perimeter of each. Go for it. Okay. The perimeter of the rectangle. We should have 2 of those 5x squareds and 2 of those 10x's. You'll notice that the x squareds are like terms. So 5 plus 5 is 10 of those x squareds. And the x's are like terms. So 10 plus 10 is 20 of those x's. And that is our perimeter for the rectangle. Let's think about the triangle. 3 sides. Let's add them all up. All right, so 2x plus 3x squared plus 5x. Notice that the x terms here are like terms, so those are the only ones that can combine. I'm also going to be mindful of standard form, so I'll put the highest degree first. So I'll start with 3x squared, and then 2 plus 5 gives me 7 of those x's. All right, let's go up to our second column, the area. Area is going to deal with the inside of the figure. We're going to be talking about how many square units can fit inside here. Okay, so let's take some of the same dimensions that we did over here on the left. Let's say we had that same 4 by 5 rectangle. Well, you'll recall from earlier this year and previous years that the area of a rectangle is just base times height. We know what the base and the height are, 5 and 4. We just multiply those 2 guys together, and there's our area. Let's keep the same triangle as the one on the left. Say we had that 3, 4, 5. Okay. Well, the triangle's area is base times height, but remember, we also need to divide it by 2 before we're done, because it's half of a rectangle. So the base here is 4. The height there is 3, and I'm going to divide it by 2. So 4 times 3 is 12. Cut that in half. and we got ourselves an area of 6. Okay, now take that information and let's apply some algebra. Let's take the same rectangle over here on the left. Let's say we have the 4x and 5x. To find the area of that guy, it's base times height. 4x times 5x. Now notice there are no pluses or minuses in that expression. It's all one just big multiplication clump, which means you can rearrange it any order that you want. 5 times 4 is 20, and then x times x is going to be x squared. Okay. Next one. Let's take the same dimensions as before. Let's say I have 4xy squared and 3x squared y. Remember, it's base times height again. So 3x squared y times 4xy squared. Now, on the left, we had trouble because these guys weren't like terms. But on the right, it doesn't matter because we don't have any pluses or minuses. You can multiply or divide anything. It's all one big multiplication clump. Rearrange your terms. So normal numbers, 3 times 4 is 12. X squared times x to the first is x to the third. And then y to the first times y to the second is y to the third. There's our area. Okay. Let's give you a couple to try on your own. You can see down here we have a square. Let's say that I told you that the square's dimension was 4x to the 7th. Okay. And let's say that you have this triangle here. Find the area of both of those. Okay. Area of the square is going to be base times height. Now, if it's a square, you know that the base and the height are going to be the same. So you're going to have 4x to the 7th times itself. Okay. No pluses or minuses. Rearrange the terms. 4 times 4 is 16. X to the 7th times x to the 7th is x to the 14. Let's tackle the triangle. Remember, it's base times height divided by 2. Okay, the base is 6x. The height is 8x. Before I divide by 2, I'm going to go ahead and multiply the tops. So 6x times 8x is 48x squared. Then I'm going to divide it by 2. Now remember, when I divide it by 2, that 2 is a normal number. So it's only going to affect the other normal number on top. So just the 48 is going to get cut in half. That's going to be 24, and the x squared remains the same. All righty. Hope you had fun. See you in class next time.